In this lesson, we're going to talk about being a project manager or virtual assistant. Now, these are two different professions. I'm including them together because there's some overlap, and mostly because I want to give you the most value I can for this course. And I really have about 15 different professions I wanted to include, so I'm condensing some into one video. So hope you'll forgive me for that. Now, you're probably familiar with virtual assistants, and the general discussion around them is often about hiring overseas people. A lot of digital nomads or online entrepreneurs hire an assistant from the Philippines for a few dollars an hour and have them do sort of busy work. Now, the other side to this is that there are a lot of entrepreneurs who work online and need an assistant or a project manager. Most of the time, they more want a project manager because they don't have that much busy work. They're not sending their wife flowers or making an appointment with the dry cleaners, but they really want to get stuff done. And they don't want to send it to the Philippines or to India. They want to deal with someone where they can have a proper conversation. There's no cultural barriers. There's not as many time zone issues. And there's more kind of consistency and reliability. You know, no matter how good things are in terms of education or cultural training, there's still a difference between working, as a Canadian, if I'm working with a fellow Canadian or a Brit or an American, or working with someone from somewhere like the Philippines, in terms of our ability to communicate really quickly and fluently. So someone who's struggling online was probably going to look to hire someone for a few dollars an hour. But someone who has a good business online is okay to pay $30, $40 an hour for their project manager because they're valuing their own time maybe at $100 or $200 an hour. And they want a really good project manager to take it on. So to be a good project manager, you need to be good at organizing things, taking charge of things, and having that drive. So often, as a project manager, an entrepreneur might give you sort of the overview for a project and what needs to get done and expect you to then go out and hire the right people, put together the team, kind of set up the plan for it all, and run with what was basically a loose vision for that. So you need that drive and ambition. That's what one of the big differences between a virtual assistant, where a virtual assistant, you're more just getting things done for people, helping them stay organized, maybe doing light accounting, invoices, setting up calendars, helping with email, things like that. You don't necessarily need experience for this, but if you do have past business experience or school experience, in terms of like a business administration degree or something like that, it will obviously be helpful. But the biggest thing is gaining that experience. So you might, in this case, start off as a virtual assistant where you're doing easy stuff, kind of no-brainer work, and you get good at it, you be consistent, you be reliable, and proactive. This is a big thing I hear from entrepreneurs is we want someone who's proactive working with us. The reason we want to outsource is to save our own time and kind of mental space so we can focus on the bigger picture stuff or creative projects. And so the more you can be proactive and sort of say, okay, here's the problem, why don't I try to solve it myself? And as long as I'm not going to destroy anything, there's not a lot of harm. That's very popular. That's a desired is probably the right word, not the right word, trait in hiring a project manager or a virtual assistant. So you could start off as a virtual assistant and then build your way up to more of a project manager role, taking on big things, overseeing the whole project, and really having the trust of your employer. This profession can be great in terms of transitioning into your own business down the road and potentially doing so as a partnership. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who are on the opposite end of project manager. They're sort of visionaries, they're creative, they're very good at coming up with a concept, but they're very poor at executing it. And they love to work with a great project manager who can take a concept, help execute it, and make it happen. And rather than getting paid, what you could always do is do some projects on like a profit share and gradually build your own business that way, where you're either as a profit share or an equity share, and you partner up with people and transition into having your own passive income streams and your own business that way. All right, so that's it in terms of being a project manager or virtual assistant. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next lesson.